Okay, so get this right. Today,
Hmm.
we're going deep on this whole Kanye situation.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, this
Yeah.
whole thing with his wife,
Right.
Bianca Censori.
Okay, yeah.
It's gotten, I mean,
It's wild.
it's wild, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have 2 articles here that,
Lay it all out.
yeah, they, like, really get into it. Plus, we have some alleged social media posts
Oh, wow.
that are just adding,
More fuel to the fire.
yeah, like a whole other layer to this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, what I find fascinating is how Kanye just keeps pushing it, It's
Mhm.
like he's trying to find the line and just,
Frost.
just go right over it.
Yeah, and it's like,
Is it calculated?
is it calculated? Or is it,
Is there something else going on?
right, like, what's the deal?
The motivation.
Yeah, so where do we even start with this? Kanye has done, like, a lot
I mean, a lot.
recently that has people talking.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I think we got to start with the elephant in the room, right? Like, his comments about Jewish people,
Uh-huh.
praising Hitler, saying he's a Nazi. I mean, those aren't just offhand remarks. They're tapping into a really dark,
Part of history.
a really dark part of history.
Yeah, and I mean, and the backlash has been
Intense.
intense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody from, like, the Anti-Defamation League to, like,
I mean, David Schwimmer even.
yeah, David Schwimmer, right,
Yeah.
have spoken out against him.
Yeah, and it makes you think, how effective is celebrity activism really?
Right,
Like, does it actually change minds?
Right.
Or does it just alienate people?
right, because he does have,
Especially with someone like Kanye.
he has, yeah, a huge,
It's massive fan base.
massive fan base.
Yeah.
So, okay, we have the anti-Semitic comments.
Right.
And then, there's also this whole swastika t-shirt
Oh, yeah.
that he was promoting
On his website.
on his Yeezy website.
Which takes us to the Super Bowl commercial, right?
Oh, yeah.
This, weirdly lighthearted ad about his teeth.
Yeah.
Films on an iPhone.
Yeah, it was so, like,
Yeah, so strange.
juxtaposed to everything else.
Juxtapose.
Like, I don't even understand that ad.
Well, this is what we call dissonance marketing.
Yeah.
It's about creating this, jarring
Contrast.
Yeah, contrast to get people talking.
Yeah.
Now, is it effective? Is it risky? Immoral. Those
Right.
are all debates, But what makes it even more unsettling is that at the time, the only thing for sale on his website was the white t-shirt with the black swastika.
Like, what?
Yeah.
It's like he's intentionally
provoking.
provoking. Right.
Yeah.
Like, trying to get a reaction.
Yeah.
But then we have Bianca.
Right.
We can't forget about her.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
what is
What's her role?
her role in this whole thing?
Right, and this is where things get really interesting. So
Okay.
we have these alleged posts from a verified X account claiming to be her
Okay.
with messages expressing concern for him and praying for him.
Yeah, I remember seeing those. I was like, wow, she's sticking by him through this.
Right.
And then her rep came out and was like, nope, that's fake.
Fake.
Totally fake account.
Yeah, and it just makes you wonder, what's the motivation?
Right.
Is it a fan? Is it a critic? Someone trying to, take advantage of the situation?
Yeah.
How does this affect her voice,
Right. Especially given some of Kanye's other comments.
Oh, yeah.
Which, wait, fill me in. What other comments?
So after she wore that totally see-through dress to the Grammys,
Right.
Kanye said, and I'm quoting here, "I have dominion over my wife. This ain't no wokest feminist ST. She's with a billionaire. Why would she listen to any of you dumbass broke peaches?"
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
A lot to unpack.
I mean, that Dominion comment,
Loaded word.
loaded. Yeah.
Control ownership.
Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
not a great look.
Historically, it's been used to justify putting women down. So it's, definitely.
Yeah, some red flags there.
Yeah, some red flags for sure.
And it makes that fake Bianca account even more.
Creepy.
Yeah, creepy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is someone trying to control
The narrative.
the narrative? Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
is that what's going on?
It's possible, and it just shows how complicated their relationship is
Yeah.
and how she's dealing with this crazy situation.
Right.
Is she trying to, express her feelings without directly going against Kanye? Or is someone just trying to take advantage?
Oh, it's all so confusing.
It is.
And we haven't even gotten into the potential psychological factors
Oh, yeah.
of what's going on here.
We've only just scratched the surface.
Right.
But it's clear, there's a lot more to this
Yeah.
than we see at first glance.
That meets the eye.
Yeah, it brings up questions about, celebrity culture, free speech,
The power of social media.
the power of social media.
Yeah.
It's all tied in.
There's a lot to think about here.
Absolutely.
I show
And
it.
that's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, okay, so there's more.
Yeah, there's more.
Okay, well, let's get into it then. I mean, it really does feel like we're dealing with, like,
Multiple Kanyes.
multiple Kanyes.
Yeah.
Like the
artist, the provocateur, the husband,
and then, like, maybe
the
even,
struggling individual.
right, someone who's dealing
Yeah.
with some stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
It's a lot. And
Yeah.
speaking of, like,
Oh, yeah.
Bianca,
Yeah.
it's interesting that she's been, like, so silent
No,
through all of this.
it's intriguing.
Yeah, what do you think her perspective might be?
Well, we know that she was an architectural designer at Yeezy before they got married. But apart from that, there's not really a lot out there about her personal life or her beliefs, so, you know, who knows? It could be interpreted in so many ways. It could be fear or just protecting her privacy, you know?
Right, because it is in this whole mess.
It's a tough situation
Oh,
to
yeah.
be in.
It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with all this, like, controversy.
Right, to have your whole relationship
Yeah.
analyzed and
picked apart by everybody.
yeah, by the media, by everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah.
And it just makes you wonder about their relationship, you know?
For sure.
Especially given that Dominion comment.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what does that say about,
About the power dynamic.
yeah, like, does she even feel like she has a voice?
Does she feel like she can speak up?
Right. Or is she scared to,
Or is she afraid to, like, challenge him?
Yeah.
Which, you know, brings us back to the fake X account.
Right.
Was it an attempt to, like, quiet her?
Uh-huh.
Control the narrative around her?
Right.
Or was it someone, like, maybe a fan trying to give her a voice she felt she couldn't use?
Yeah, it's like a weird
It's like a weird,
form of fanfic.
yeah, like a twisted, but in real life.
Yeah, and with real consequences.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think, like, stepping back from Bianca for a second,
Okay.
Kanye's actions
Bringing up
all these questions about free speech, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like, what are the limits?
And what about the responsibility of celebrities?
Yeah.
You know, it's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
Because on one hand, you're like, he can say what he wants.
Right.
Freedom of speech.
Uh-huh.
But then on the other hand, you're like, words have power, you know?
Especially when you have, like,
And when you have a platform like his.
yeah, like a man.
Millions of followers.
It's not like he's just,
hanging on his every word.
yeah, some random guy on, like, a street corner.
Right. It's different.
Yeah, this is Kanye West, you know?
Right.
So then it's like, okay, what are the consequences for that?
Yeah. Are there consequences?
Like, we've seen, I mean, brands have dropped him.
Adidas, yeah.
And you got to wonder about, like, his Yeezy brand.
What's going to happen with Yeezy?
Yeah, like, can he even recover from this?
It's a tough one. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's something a lot of celebrities deal with these days.
Mhm.
That line between, like, personal and professional life.
Yeah, it's so blurry,
So blurry.
especially on social media.
Oh, yeah. With social media, it's like
It's
all mixed up.
yeah, it's just one big
One
thing.
big mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, with Kanye, his whole brand has been about, like, being outspoken and controversial.
Yeah.
So it's like, where's
the line?
the line? Yeah.
When does it go too far?
When does it become, like, toxic?
Yeah.
You know?
It's a tough one.
It's a tough question.
And I don't think there's an easy answer.
Mhm.
But I think it's safe to say that for a lot of people, he's crossed a line
Yeah.
with his recent stuff.
For sure, yeah.
And it's not just about, like, losing those partnerships.
Right.
It's about the consumers, too.
Yeah, like, people might not want to buy his stuff.
Yeah. Are they going to buy his music?
Or his clothes.
Yeah, his clothes, his shoes.
Yeah.
If they think he's, you know,
Promoting hate.
promoting hate, yeah,
Right.
that can have a huge impact
Huge impact.
on his money.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see, like,
How he handles it,
yeah, how he tries to,
how he tries to come back from this.
yeah.
Can he save his brand?
Right.
But maybe that's not even the right question.
What do you mean?
Maybe the question is, like, what does this tell us about?
Us
Yeah, about us.
as a society.
About how much we'll tolerate
Right.
when it comes to hate speech.
It's
Like
on.
reflection, you know?
Yeah, he's holding up a mirror.
Yeah.
We're like,
And we don't like what we see.
yeah, exactly.
And it's challenging
Yeah.
because we want to, like, protect free speech,
Right.
but we also want to protect people from hate.
From hate.
Yeah, and how do we do that?
Right. Like, where is that balance?
How do we hold people accountable without, like, censoring them? It's like walking a tightrope,
It is. And I don't,
and nobody really knows the answer.
yeah, nobody has the answer to that yet.
No.
So, okay, we talked about the social and cultural stuff,
Right.
but there's another piece of the puzzle here, right?
Yeah.
The psychological aspect.
Oh, the mind?
Yeah, like
The inner working?
the inner workings, yeah.
It's tempting to, like, diagnose him from afar, but
We're not
we're not doctors.
doctors.
Yeah, we got to be careful about
They
that.
can't be like armchair.
Armchair psychologists.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't do that.
So we're not going to do that?
No.
But I think we can talk about mental health in general.
Right. The bigger picture.
Yeah.
How it might be playing a role here.
Yeah, like I know Kanye has talked about his bipolar disorder before,
He has? Yeah.
and a lot of people are speculating that, like,
That his recent actions might be connected.
yeah, connected to that.
Yeah.
And that brings up a lot of questions, right?
Oh, so many.
Like, how do you separate the person?
From the illness.
Right, from the illness.
Yeah.
And how do you hold someone accountable
Right.
while also acknowledging that? Like,
That they might be struggling.
right.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance.
It is.
But I think, like, first we got to recognize that mental illness isn't an excuse
Right.
for bad behavior.
Uh-huh.
It's something to think about, for sure.
Right.
But it doesn't mean you get a free pass.
It doesn't get you off the hook.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but it also makes it even more important
To talk about it
to talk about.
openly and honestly.
Yeah.
So people can get the help they need
Right, without feeling
without feeling ashamed.
ashamed or judged.
Yeah. And by doing that,
Uh-huh.
we can create a more supportive world for everyone.
Right. Okay, so is it possible that, like, Kanye's anti-Semitic rants, the swastika shirt, like, is that related to bipolar disorder?
It's possible.
Okay.
Bipolar disorder can cause these, like, huge mood swings, energy changes, even how people think. And those changes can show up in different ways.
Uh-huh.
Like impulsive behavior, thinking you're greater than you are,
Right.
and having trouble controlling your emotions.
Okay, so maybe he was in, like, a manic episode
Maybe.
and just not thinking straight.
It's possible,
Okay.
but we can't know for sure.
Right.
And even if he was,
Right.
not everyone with bipolar disorder
Right.
does stuff like this.
Promotes hate.
Yeah, it's not like a direct link.
Right. It's not like
One
the one,
Yeah.
everyone's
And-
different.
Everyone's different.
Is different.
It's more about understanding how mental health can affect someone's actions,
Right.
their choices.
Decision making
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's about remembering that mental health is just as important
as physical health.
as physical health. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to make it okay for people to get help
Mm-hmm.
when they need it
Yeah.
without shame.
For sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of, like, other potential psychological factors,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of talk about narcissism
Narcissism. Oh, yeah.
and Kanye.
Yeah. That comes up a lot.
What do you think about that?
Well, it's definitely a personality trait that we hear about a lot.
Right. Because he's known for his, like,
Grandiose statements.
grandiose statements. Yeah. Like needing to be in the spotlight
Oh, yeah.
and seemingly, like, not caring how his actions affect others.
Not caring about the consequences.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, those could be seen as narcissistic for sure.
But, I mean, isn't everyone a little narcissistic?
True, true.
Like, we all have an ego, right?
Everyone has an ego. It's on a spectrum.
Okay.
It's about healthy self-esteem versus like an inflated sense of self-importance.
Okay, so when does it become a problem?
When it starts messing with your relationships.
Okay.
How you function in the world.
Right.
Like when it's so ingrained
Got it.
that it's causing problems.
Okay, so you're saying there's a difference between,
Having those tendencies
Okay.
and having the actual
yeah,
disorder.
yeah, like narcissistic personality disorder.
Exactly. We got to make that distinction.
Okay, we're not diagnosing Kanye.
No diagnoses from us,
Right, right.
but we can look at his behavior
Mhm.
and see if it like matches up
With the criteria.
with the criteria. Yeah.
Okay, so what is a criteria for that?
So according to like the DSM-5,
Yeah.
some of the key things are like
Yeah,
a
okay.
huge sense of self-importance,
Okay.
being totally preoccupied with fantasies of success and power and brilliance, thinking they're super special and unique
Okay.
and can only be understood by other special people,
Right.
needing tons of admiration,
Okay.
feeling entitled,
Yeah.
exploiting others,
Okay.
lacking empathy, envying others, or thinking others envy them,
Okay.
and being really arrogant.
Wow, that's
That's a lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think Kanye has any of that?
I mean, he definitely seems to show some of it,
Okay.
but again, not diagnosing.
Right, right.
Not our place.
But it's interesting to think about how those traits could be playing a role in how he's acting.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And remember, even if someone has these traits,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't mean they're a bad person.
Right.
It's about understanding how it affects
Right.
them, their actions.
Yeah, it's all about context,
Context, exactly.
right? You can't just like take one thing,
Isolate it.
yeah, and be like, this is who they are.
Right, it's more complicated than that.
It's all connected.
Yeah, mental health, personality, social stuff, their past experiences.
Right.
It's all woven together.
This has been a deep dive, hasn't it?
It has.
We've covered so much.
We've barely scratched the surface.
And I feel like we've just,
There's always more.
yeah, there's always more to uncover.
Yeah.
What's your biggest takeaway from all of this?
I think what really gets me is the complexity of it all.
Yeah.
Like, there's no easy answers,
Mm-hmm.
no clear good guys or bad guys.
Right.
It's about trying to understand the nuance,
The gray areas.
the gray areas. Yeah, the fact that he's human.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And it's about,
Asking those tough questions.
yeah, challenging our own
Our own assumptions.
and being okay with,
We're uncomfortable?
yeah, the uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah.
Because that's how we grow.
Yeah, we gotta have those.
Yeah,
Okay, so you've been following Kanye's career for a while now.
I have. Yeah.
How do you see his actions? Like, has your perception of him changed at all?
I think it's definitely evolved.
How so?
Well, when he first came out,
Yeah.
he was this bold, outspoken, super talented artist.
Right.
And, he was always controversial.
Yeah.
But there was also like a vulnerability there, like a rawness that I found really interesting. And now I still see the talent, the creativity, but it feels different.
Different how?
The controversy feels louder, more aggressive,
Yeah.
more hurtful.
Right.
And I wonder if he's lost something along the way.
Like, lost sight of something important.
Yeah, or maybe he's just
Or maybe he's trapped
in this like
in this cycle of provocation.
yeah,
But outrage.
yeah, like he has to keep
He has to keep pushing.
pushing it further
Yeah.
to get that
To get the attention.
attention.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean,
It's a cautionary tale
it is
for all of us,
about what?
about fame
Yeah.
and the dangers of it and staying true to yourself,
Even when
even when the world's trying to change you.
change you into something you're not.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
It's a tough one.
It is.
Yeah.
And it brings us back to this question.
The big question.
Is Kanye just a master manipulator
Using controversy
using controversy to like
to make money.
make money? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is he like
Or is he just,
a troubled person
someone who's really struggling?
whose actions are just like spiraling?
Out of control. I don't know if we can answer that.
I don't think we can.
But by looking at all the layers,
Right.
the psychology, the social stuff, the culture,
Yeah.
we can at least understand it better.
Understand the complexity of it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the nuances.
Maybe that's all we can do.
Maybe that's enough.
Yeah.
Just to try and understand.
Right.
It's not about finding the perfect answer.
Uh-huh.
It's about embracing the
The ambiguity.
the ambiguity,
The gray areas.
and being okay with the discomfort.
discomfort.
Yeah.
Just keep asking questions.
Keep asking.
Even when it's hard.
Even when it's tough.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
journey is just as important as the destination.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We did. Yeah.
But there's one more thing I think we need to explore.
Okay.
The psychological aspect.
Great.
Specifically, narcissism
Okay.
and how that might be playing a role in Kanye's behavior.
It's a fascinating topic, and I think it's key to understanding all of this.
Okay, let's dig in. Okay, so we talked about mental health and Kanye, but like there's this whole other thing, right?
Yeah.
Narcissism.
Narcissism, yeah, it's a term we hear all the time these days.
It is. So what does it even mean? Like clinically?
Think of it like a balloon, a little air keeps it afloat, too much, it pops.
Right.
It's all about balance.
Okay.
Everyone's got some narcissism. It's part of having an ego.
Right, but when does it become like a problem?
When it takes over
Okay.
and starts hurting your relationships and
Yeah.
how you function, like day to day.
Right, so then we're talking about
Narcissistic personality disorder.
NPD.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just like being selfish or vain.
Deeper than that.
Deeper, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are the signs? Like, how do you know if someone's struggling with it?
Well, we've touched on it before, but some of the big things are a really inflated sense of self-importance,
Yeah.
needing constant admiration, lack of empathy,
Right.
feeling entitled and taking advantage of others.
Right.
People with NPD, they often have really fragile self-esteem,
Okay.
and they get super threatened by criticism.
Easily, yeah.
Yeah.
And how does this like relate to Kanye? Do you think he has any of that?
Well, I mean, some of his behavior definitely lines up.
Like what?
The grandiose stuff he says, you know? Needing to be the center of attention.
Right.
Not seeming to care who he hurts.
Right, but how do we know if it's like actually NPD or just a big ego?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And honestly, only a mental health pro can say for sure.
Right, we're not going to diagnose.
No, not diagnosing.
We can look at the behavior.
Yeah, and see if it kind of
Fits the pattern.
Yeah.
So it's back to that like
gray area.
gray area.
It always is.
Always is.
Yeah, human behavior, it's not black and white.
Nope.
It's messy.
It's messy.
Yeah, you got to look at the whole picture.
The whole tapestry.
Personality, mental health, social stuff, their past, it's all connected.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's say hypothetically,
Okay.
Kanye does have NPD.
Uh-huh.
How would that be like affecting everything that's going on?
Well, people with NPD, they often struggle with relationships.
Right.
They have trouble empathizing, which leads to conflict.
Right, like haven't we seen that with Kanye?
Oh, yeah.
Like his feuds with other celebrities, how he reacts to critics.
That's it. People with NPD, they feel like they deserve special treatment and they can't handle criticism, so they lash out.
Okay, so maybe like his outbursts, the anti-Semitism, even the swastika thing.
Yeah.
Is it all just a way to like deflect the criticism?
Could be.
To protect his ego?
Remember, under that big ego,
Yeah.
often there's this fragile self-worth.
Right.
So they use these behaviors to protect themselves
I'm feeling bad.
from feeling inadequate. Yeah.
Wow, it's like they're trying to keep up this image.
This perfect image.
Yeah, even if it hurts people.
It's a tough cycle.
It is.
And it can be really destructive.
Especially with someone like Kanye.
Oh, yeah. When you have that big of a platform.
Your words have power.
They do. They affect so many people.
So it's important to have these conversations.
Oh,
It's about NPD, mental health, everything.
So we can understand it better.
Help people who are struggling.
Exactly.
And maybe even recognize it in ourselves.
Oh, yeah. We all have a little narcissism in us.
A little bit.
It's about knowing yourself.
Right.
Understanding why you do what you do.
And having compassion.
For yourself and others.
Yeah, I think this deep dive has been really eye-opening.
It has.
We've gone deep.
Yeah.
Social stuff, psychology. It's been quite a journey.
It's a journey that keeps going.
It does, yeah.
Even as this Kanye thing plays out.
We got to keep asking questions.
Always.
Challenging what we think.
And having those tough conversations.
Yeah, because that's how we learn and grow.
As people, as a society.
Exactly.
And as we keep digging into this stuff.
We might find that there's not always a clear answer.
Yeah.
The lines can get blurry.
Right.
But the important thing is to keep searching.
Keep searching.
Try to understand
And keep talking about it.
Keep the conversation going, yeah.
That's a good place to end, I think.
I think so too.
So listeners, what are your takeaways? What really stuck with you? Do you see Kanye as like a victim of his mental health? A provocateur trying to make money? Or somewhere in between? We want to hear from you.
This deep dive, it's been about raising questions.
Not giving answers.
Yeah, we wanted to show you the layers, the psychology, the culture, the choices people make.
So as you think about all this, consider the bigger picture.
How do we deal with artists we love when they do bad things?
How do we hold people accountable but still be understanding?
And maybe most importantly, what can we learn from this whole thing?
How can we grow from it? Be more open about mental health. Build a better world.
Those are the questions to think about.
They are, and we hope this deep dive has given you something to chew on. Keep exploring.
Keep asking questions.
Stay curious.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.